Verse 7 says, they will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord. Verse 7 says, mean, preposition mean, from, and then shamu'ah, reports, ra'ah, reports of evil. These are bad news. When you hear bad news, lo, he will not, yare, he will not be afraid. So when you hear the reports of someone conspiring against you, or maligning you, or slandering you, or doing something against you, you do not fear because of the doctrine inside of your soul. So from reports of evil, he will not fear. And then what it says right here, na gonna. Na gon here means to be stabilized. Nifel is in the passive. His heart, livo, his heart is stabilized. And then his heart being stabilized by his trust. This is the word batuach. We've seen the verb before batach because he trusts. And it's a word for faith rest technique because he trusts ba in Yahovah, in the Lord. So when he hears the reports of evil, the bad news from reports of evil, he will not fear, for his heart is stabilized by his trust in the Lord. Faith rest technique, and you are not shaken, you are not moved by it. And then the next word says samuk, sustained. Verse 8 says their hearts are secure, they will have no fear. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes. Not exactly. Yes, you will look in triumph at your foes, but this is not the word, what the sentence says. It is true that you look in triumph to your foes, and God takes you to victory, but no, it does not appear here in this verb, in this verse. Verse 8. Samuk, secure, or sustained. Livo, his heart is sustained, the cal passive participle of samek. His heart being secure, sustained, lo, he does not, he will not be afraid. And then we have this prepositional phrase. The preposition is ad. Until, no, up to the moment, because we see here up ahead is ashek, unto the moment which, the moment that, and then the cal imperfect of ra'ah, to see, to look, unto the moment that he will look, in tzaro, his enemies, his adversaries. So I really like this verse, these two, combination of these two verses, because first you hear the bad news, you hear the reports of evil, and someone is saying this about you, conspiring you, someone's planning something, they've accused you of something false, now they're about to interrogate you, etc. You hear the bad report. This is already enough to start making you afraid. But between the period of hearing the bad news, the reports of evil, and to the point of arriving face to face with your adversaries, that period in between, that could be the most terrifying for some people. It is for me. Sometimes when I hear bad news that someone's doing this and someone's doing that, I just feel like getting in front of the person and saying, all right, come on, go ahead, do what you have to do. Of course, don't do that. But that period of uncertainty is the most terrifying. This verb paints the picture of the moment of the bad report, all the way to the moment when you finally face your adversaries. And you will not fear. Your heart is secure, it's sustained, and you're able to think right. Because fear is the inability to not think under pressure, while courage is the ability to think under pressure. but your heart is secure, your thinking is secure. So what do we have? Hold on, did I finish this? Up to the point which he sees or looks at his adversaries. This is very personal. In, be means in, but into, face to face. I'm going to translate it up to the moment of confronting his adversaries, but if you want it literal, up to the moment of seeing his adversaries. Let me read verse 7 and verse 8 together. From or by reports of evil, he will not be afraid. His heart being stabilized by his faith or his trust in the Lord. His heart being sustained, secured, he will not be afraid, up to the moment which he sees or confronts his adversaries. This word sar it's also trial or afflictions. So it does not necessarily have to be a person. It could be a thing, a situation, a circumstance. So first you hear the bad report of something that's about to happen, and then you run into the unfavorable circumstance, and you're still not afraid between the report and the occurrence. It's a wonderful verse. Verse 9, and this is the quotation that we have in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 9. What does it say? They have freely scattered the gifts to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Their horn will be lifted in high honor. Okay, now, one of the characteristics of a super grace believer is that he is happy and he gives happily. And his giving is gracious giving. Also expressed here as freely scattering. But let's see what it says. Bitzar. This is the PL of Batzar. And the PL means to scatter, to distribute freely, to give graciously. This is to give without wanting anything back. You just do it because of the happiness and the doctrine in your soul. And this is why Paul uses this verse to tell the Corinthians that part of the super grace life, part of the experiential righteousness of the believers, to give freely because of his happiness. And this is what the Corinthians are about to fulfill. So he distributes, he scatters graciously. Nathan, he gives. And then la, directional, to. And then we have here, evyon nima, to the needy, those in need. I know that giving to the poor and all that has become a bad word to those who are anti-socialistic, anti-communistic. And it's true. The state has no right for the distribution of wealth. But here it's out of your own volition and out of your own doctrine, you start giving to those who are in need, those who are poor. If a situation occurs where you run into someone who needs, you give without expecting anything back in return. And if you do not have anything, say that you're a super grace believer and you're going through a poverty test and you have nothing to give, well, don't give anything. Maybe a word of comfort, maybe the gospel, and you can give that freely. And then we have here tzaddik, tzidakato, his righteousness, once again, his righteousness. Omedeth, cal passive participle of amad, to stand. His participle, his righteousness stands la'ad, forever, forever. His horn, his power, his glory, his horn, tarum, will be raised in glory. This is the glorification of Christ, and when you glorify Christ, he glorifies you. you share in that glory, as we saw in Colossians chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. And then verse 10, talking about the wicked people, those in the cosmic system. It says, Rasha. The wicked will see and be vexed. They will gnash their teeth and waste away. The longings of the wicked will come to nothing. So what is this? Rasha. The evil ones will see. They will see you be sustained, not fall. Your righteousness stands forever. You do not break your standards. And furthermore, you receive those super grace blessings in time. The evil ones who have been going against you, they will see that. They will see wa and ga'as. They will become weak. They will lose their strength. They will become so dismotivated, so disenchanted that they lose their strength. It's often translated melted away or waste away. That too. But I like the translation that they're weak, because it literally catches the idea that they see it and they lose their strength for that moment or forever if they give up. Normally they don't give up because their hatred towards you is so strong, and hatred is such a strong motivator. It will never make them stop. They'll see you, and once again their hatred is restored, and they go at it again. Arrogance is the worst mental attitude sin, but jealousy and hatred they are the strongest motivators. This is how all the people that crucified the Lord Jesus Christ were able to mobilize so quickly, and in a period of 4 days were able to put him under 7 trials. 7 trials. Because hatred is such a strong motivator. It will get you to do things that you're even ashamed of, and get you to do them very quickly. So, but they'll waste away. They'll lose their strength at that moment. Literally. They'll become cold. They'll put on their hoodie. They'll get shaky. They'll sit down, won't be able to stand up for whatever it is. The evil ones will see and become weak. They will gnash his teeth. Charak, gnash his teeth in anger. This is part of the reason why those who are casted to the lake of fire are going to be gnashing their teeth. Not because of the pain, or yes, because of the pain, but because of their hatred towards God. They did not want God in time. They're not going to want God in the lake of fire. And they're going to be gnashing their teeth. And that's one of the ways how they numb themselves to the pain of the lake of fire, because of their hatred towards God. Hatred will seriously numb a person. It is very unhealthy, and it is not good for anyone. But they decided to live in the cosmic system. They want to remain there. That's their lifestyle. They have nothing else going for them. That's all they got. They will gnash their teeth and namas and become weak and waste away. Ka'as. Pardon me. Ka'as means to be angered, and will be extremely angered, full of ire, and namas means to become weak. So again, the evil ones will see and be extremely angered. They will gnash their teeth and will become weak. There we go. Become weak. And then here we have Daweh. Their desires, their lusts. All the desires consist of lust. Lust for attention, approbation, power, sex, chemical, material, whatever it is that they need to keep their arrogance all the way up. Their lusts, rasha, their wicked lusts, toveth, will come to nothing. And think about all those people that gave away and give their lives to satiate their lust. Now they're 70 years old. Now they're 80. All for what? Y todo para qué? Or they're 40 and 50 and they die early. Or they're 30 years old, 50 or whatever. They've acquired all their lusts, and then reality hits them. Their wife leaves them. He thought he was a thing, and then his wife leaves him. All for what? For nothing. well, many things can happen here, but we'll see what this verse says.